I transmigrated into this novel as an insignificant NPC, where the female lead was a villainess. I learned that Shen Xiaowei's fate was to become a stepping stone for the male and female leads before dying miserably in the end. I felt sorry for her, ignored the system's instructions, and decided to save her. If her affection level toward me reached 100, she could break free from her villainous fate, live as an ordinary person, and I would receive a reward of 5 million from the system before returning to my original world. That was why I began pursuing Shen Xiaowei so I could complete my mission. Her workload at the company was overwhelming, so I became her personal assistant to help her. Years of working overtime had left her suffering from back pain, so I spent my own money traveling to Thailand to learn the best massage techniques. Whenever she was tired, I could massage her shoulders and feet. One night at midnight, she said she wanted to eat wontons from a place on the outskirts of the city. Since I could not get a taxi, I walked 10 kilometers through heavy rain to bring them back for her. However, just as I finally managed to raise her affection level to 99, the original male lead and she became intimate right in front of me. Her affection level instantly dropped to 0. The system asked helplessly, "This is already the 3rd time you failed. Do you still want to continue?" My heart had already turned to ashes. I shook my head and said, "No, I want to go home now. I miss my mother." The moment I said that, Shen Xiaowei suddenly raised her head and stared at me in panic. Then, without caring about her image as the nation's diva, she fell to her knees in front of me and begged me not to leave her. 3 days earlier, I had accompanied Shen Xiaowei to her class reunion. During the party, Lu Ming lost a round of truth or dare and was ordered to kiss someone of the opposite sex who was present. With a single glance, he chose my fiancée, Shen Xiaowei. Shen Xiaowei's friends looked toward me. "It's only a game. Brother-in-law surely won't mind." Shen Xiaowei placed her hand on my shoulder and answered before I could, leaving me confused. Her friends began teasing me about how fortunate I was to have caught a star like Shen Xiaowei's attention. But they did not know that Shen Xiaowei was gripping my shoulder so tightly at that moment that it hurt. I looked at her pleadingly, but her eyes were fixed on Lu Ming. She did not look at me at all. Lu Ming had once been the school heartthrob, so everyone eagerly urged him to hurry up and kiss someone. Tears gathered at the corners of Lu Ming's eyes. Although he was smiling, he continued looking in our direction. A girl who had once pursued Lu Ming took hold of his hand. Shen Xiaowei had already refused him. Another girl said, "It's fine. I'm here." She moved closer to Lu Ming. Shen Xiaowei lowered her head and fed me a piece of tangerine she had just peeled. However, I could see the affection level above her head falling. I knew she was in pain. She was only using me to distract herself. Lu Ming held back his tears. Just as the girl was about to touch him, he shoved her away and shouted, "I don't want to." The piece of tangerine Shen Xiaowei had been holding near my mouth froze in mid-air. Lu Ming said emotionally, "There has always been only one person in my heart. I know she is about to get married, but today, I want to be brave." Then he walked straight toward me, pushed me aside, held Shen Xiaowei's face, and kissed her. Shen Xiaowei wanted it too. After a moment of silence, the entire hall erupted in cheers and applause. Some people even took photographs. The system shouted beside me, "Villainous, do you remember that you still have a boyfriend?" But no one except me could hear its voice. An alarm repeatedly echoed in my mind. Affection level has fallen to 0. Affection level has fallen to 0. After separating, Shen Xiaowei and Lu Ming continued staring into each other's eyes. The next moment, Shen Xiaowei took Lu Ming's hand in front of everyone and led him outside. The system asked dejectedly, "The mission has failed for the 3rd time. Do you wish to continue?" I smiled and shook my head. "No, I want to go home." From the corner of my eye, I saw Shen Xiaowei's footsteps pause for a moment, but she did not turn around. She left me alone in front of everyone and walked away. By the time I came out of the hall, Shen Xiaowei's car had already disappeared. The surroundings were deserted. I began walking home. Cars passed by me in the night. Someone stopped and mocked me. "You only took advantage of Lu Ming's absence to steal his woman." After speaking, he blew smoke into my face. I took out a wet tissue, wiped my face, and dried my tears. I had not stolen anyone's woman. By the time I entered this novel, Lu Ming had already abandoned Shen Xiaowei and become engaged to Jiyu Hanmo. The system told me that if Shen Xiaowei's affection reached 100%, her destined death would change, and I could return home with 5 million. I tried to win her over 3 times. The first time, a fire broke out on set and Shen Xiaowei became trapped. I risked my life to save her, but she developed amnesia and mistook me for an online troll who hated her. The second time, she finally agreed to marry me. I spent 6 months wholeheartedly preparing for our wedding. However, on the wedding day, Lu Ming called her while crying and said that his stomach hurt. She immediately abandoned me and took the earliest flight to see him. At that time, her affection level was only 60%, so I could forgive her. But this time, her affection had reached 99%, yet it still fell to 0. The system comforted me by saying that only 10 days remained before I could go home. However, because I had gone against fate, I would have to endure some pain before leaving. I smiled bitterly. I've endured it for so many years. Why would I be afraid of a little more pain? The next day, Shen Xiaowei had a shoot. I arrived on set early in the morning because I did not want to cause her trouble, but she continued to be late. I called her for an entire hour, but she did not answer. The director could not yell at Shen Xiaowei, so he vented his anger on me instead. You're her assistant. You should have coordinated with her in advance. I repeatedly bowed and apologized while continuing to send her messages. Even then, I was still worried about her career. This film was extremely important to her. With a good performance, she could win the Best Actress award. The director was also a major figure in the industry. Offending him could create many difficulties for her in the future. Then the director told me that Shen Xiaowei had personally called him and asked for leave. She was usually punctual and was also a major star, so the director had immediately agreed. However, losses had already been caused on set. Her manager placed all the blame on me, deducted 3 months of my salary, and posted the matter in the company's internal group as a warning. Shen Xiaowei did not say a single word in my defense. She remained silent. At 2:30 in the afternoon, Lu Ming made a post. It was a photograph of their hands with their fingers intertwined. The caption read, "I was bored on set, so I had to force the future Best Actress, Shen Xiaowei, to lie and take leave so she could come out with me." Comments immediately appeared beneath it. "They are the real couple. They were made for each other. May you always be happy. Don't give Jiu Jian a chance." Another comment said, "Jiu Jian couldn't win Shen Xiaowei's heart even after 4 years. What a useless man." Shen Xiaowei ignored all the mockery directed at me and replied to Lu Ming, "As long as you're happy, I'm willing to do anything." She openly declared her love for him. I sent her a message. "Why didn't you tell me in advance that you were taking leave? I'm not only your assistant, I'm also your boyfriend." This time, Shen Xiaowei responded immediately, "You're only an assistant. I don't need to report everything to you." I laughed bitterly. For Lu Ming's sake, she had taken 3 days off despite never missing work before. Now, she wanted to distance herself from me. It was obvious that her heart belonged only to Lu Ming. I did not reply again. I deleted everything related to her from my phone. I wanted to leave now. I wanted to resign. The next day, I went to the company to meet the manager and ran into Lu Ming. Our shoulders brushed against each other. He raised his head angrily, but stopped when he saw me. My resignation letter fell to the floor. He picked it up and said, "Shen Xiaowei only took 1 day off to go out with me, and you're resigning over that? Isn't this too small a matter?" With only a few words, he made me look like someone causing trouble for no reason. "I'm sorry, Jiu Jian. We stayed out very late yesterday, and I was tired, so I asked her to take leave. I forgot to tell you. We'll inform you beforehand next time so we don't cause you trouble." He continued, "The comments online last night were harsh. Don't take them seriously. I'm truly grateful that you've stayed beside Shen Xiaowei all these years and taken care of her." Lu Ming smiled generously. I smiled as well and tried to pull my hand away, but he continued holding it. My eyes turned cold. I violently shook him off and, without thinking, slapped him hard across the face. I no longer cared about anything. I simply did not want to remain entangled with them. A red mark appeared on Lu Ming's cheek. He stared at me in shock. Just as he raised his hand to strike back, Shen Xiaowei shouted from behind us, "Lu Ming, what are you doing?" I stood there indifferently. Shen Xiaowei stepped in front of me. Lu Ming innocently showed her his cheek. "Shen Xiaowei, he hit me. He called me shameless, and then he slapped me." I became angry and was about to hit him back when you arrived. As usual, Shen Xiaowei immediately believed him. She gently stroked his cheek. I misunderstood. "Does it hurt?" She wiped away Lu Ming's tears. Then she moved him behind her and turned on me. Apologized to him. I gritted my teeth and remained silent. Shen Xiaowei said, "You're the one with no manners. You have no right to complain." The system shouted beside me, "If you're blind, then get your eyes treated. You believe everything he says, but you refuse to listen to your own boyfriend. Have you forgotten that Lu Ming abandoned you and married Jiu Hanmo? Jiu Jian saved you when you tried to take your own life. You said he was your support. Have you forgotten everything? When he truly leaves, you won't even have the chance to regret it. Shen Xiaowei gave a faint laugh and said, there is only Lu Ming in my heart. I don't care about anyone else. The system and I both froze. It sounded as though she had heard the system's voice. I took a deep breath and answered flatly, fine. I apologize. Lu Ming looked slightly stunned. Without looking at him, I said to Shen Xiaowei, you were right. I have no manners, and I'm not worthy of being your assistant. I'm resigning. Shen Xiaowei's expression stiffened, and her smile disappeared. Are you serious? I did not answer. I walked past her. She started to follow me, but Lu Ming grabbed her arm. He's only putting on an act. He won't really leave you. Shen Xiaowei stopped. I laughed inwardly. We'll see. By the time the resignation process was complete, it was already evening. My emotions were complicated. In a few days, I would return home and see my mother after so many years. She was the only woman who had ever truly loved me. The moment I walked out of the company gate, a sharp pain struck my heart. The system told me it was the backlash I had to endure before leaving. I sat down while clutching my chest, struggling to breathe. Then I remembered that I had a cat at home. I had raised her after entering this world. When Shen Xiaowei would not give me her love, that cat had been my only comfort. Without her, I might have broken down long ago. When I reached home, I unlocked the door and entered. Everything had changed. My slippers were no longer beside the entrance. Our photograph had been removed from beside the television, and my succulent plant had disappeared from the balcony. In their place were a couple photograph of Shen Xiaowei and Lu Ming, and roses that Lu Ming liked. I rushed into my cat's room. All of her belongings had been removed, and the room had been turned into Lu Ming's gaming room. I searched the entire house but found nothing. At that moment, the door opened. Shen Xiaowei and Lu Ming walked inside and appeared surprised to see me. I angrily asked, where is my cat? Lu Ming answered innocently, I'm allergic to cat fur, so I threw it away last night. My entire body began trembling. I stepped forward and grabbed him by the collar. Where did you throw her? His throat was constricted, and tears appeared in his eyes. Shen Xiaowei tried to pull me away, but I shoved her aside. How could you let him throw away my cat? She wasn't yours. Why did you bring him into my home? Shen Xiaowei, you're beyond saving. Shen Xiaowei forced me to release Lu Ming and wiped away his tears. Then she reached out to wipe mine. I glared sharply at her. If anything has happened to my cat, neither of you will live peacefully. Shen Xiaowei became frightened and said softly, don't be angry. I'll take you to find her. In the surveillance footage, Lu Ming was seen forcibly dragging my cat away. Her claws scraped against the floor because she did not want to leave. I glared at Lu Ming and demanded directions before driving myself. He sat in the passenger seat and guided us. Eventually, we arrived at a slaughterhouse. The place was filthy and smelled horrible. Shen Xiaowei covered her nose as she followed behind me. The painful cries of dogs and cats came from inside, as though they were calling for their owners. I became even more anxious. I went inside and began searching. Many of the animals were weak and sick. Some were crying. I searched throughout the entire night. As dawn approached, I still had not found my cat. The system sighed. In a few years, she'll be reborn. Once you return home, you can raise her again. I gritted my teeth. I don't want her next life. Just as I was about to give up, the owner pointed toward a corner. That one. I turned around and ran over. In the dark corner, my cat lay silently. I softly called her name. There was no response. When I touched her, I realized that she had been dead for a long time. At that moment, I covered my face and burst into tears. If I had arrived a little earlier, I might have saved her. My cries were so violent that I began losing consciousness. Shen Xiaowei's face turned pale. She pulled me into her arms. It's all right. We'll get another cat. We can raise a new one, okay? But all I could smell was her perfume. It was the same African orchid fragrance that Lu Ming liked. I pushed her away with disgust. I don't want one. Shen Xiaowei forcibly turned my face toward her. Why? Why have you become so cold now? Is there truly nothing left for me in your heart? I gave a faint, bitter laugh. The slaughterhouse owner suddenly said, someone in your car keeps knocking on the door. He seems distressed. The moment Shen Xiaowei heard that, she ran toward the car. As soon as she left, another sharp pain struck my heart. With the system shouting in panic, darkness covered my vision and I lost consciousness. I did not know how much time had passed when I woke up and heard Shen Xiaowei's furious voice. Chronic heart failure. The doctor says you don't have much time left. Why did you hide it from me? Am I not your girlfriend? She sat beside me with red eyes and held my medical report in her hand. I said indifferently, isn't that a good thing? Once I'm gone, I won't stand between you and Lu Ming anymore. Her hand trembled. So you had already decided to leave me? How dare you? Because every time, you chose Lu Ming in front of me. You aren't worthy of my love. I don't love you anymore. Tears began falling from Shen Xiaowei's eyes. I placed my hand against her cheek. You should be happy. I'm leaving, and the two of you can finally be together. Isn't that what you wanted? She suddenly shouted, everything I did these past few days was only an act for your sake. Why didn't you understand? I deliberately said you were only my assistant. I deliberately forced you to apologize. Why couldn't you understand? You're the only person I love. I already knew you were bound to a system. If my affection reached 100, you would disappear. I didn't want to lose you, so I deliberately acted cold so that my affection level would fall. But I never expected that you could return home even without reaching 100. That system is going to take you away now, isn't it? The system floated silently beside me. We stared at each other while breathing heavily. At that moment, Lu Ming pushed the door open and entered. Shen Xiaowei, was what you just said true? I spoke up. You heard what she said. You don't want me to leave? Then tell him to kneel in front of me, apologize for my cat, and get out of here. Shen Xiaowei lowered her head and said nothing. I knew she could not do it. Lu Ming's eyes filled with tears. Jiu Jian, you know how much I love Shen Xiaowei. 4 years ago, I only left because I was angry with her. You took advantage of the opportunity and forced your way into her life. People called you shameless, but I defended you. Now that you're leaving, why are you still holding on to her? After saying that, Lu Ming truly fell to his knees. I'm begging you, give Shen Xiaowei back to me. Shen Xiaowei reached toward him, but he refused her help and continued staring at me. Until you forgive me, I won't stand up. The ward door was open, and people were watching. I looked like the villain. Shen Xiaowei held Lu Ming and said, he accepted your condition. Isn't your anger gone yet? I looked at her. Since you're defending him so strongly, you should kneel too and take his punishment for him. Coldness appeared in Shen Xiaowei's eyes. I smiled mockingly. This is your love? You can't even kneel? I don't want your love. Get out. Shen Xiaowei had never suffered such humiliation before. She neither lowered her head nor obeyed me. Her face turned red with anger. Suddenly, Shen Xiaowei shouted, enough. In the end, she helped Lu Ming stand and prepared to leave. It was only a cat. I'll find you another one exactly like it. Lu Ming has a headache. He can't kneel. I pulled her toward me and slapped her across the face. Shen Xiaowei, you have lost all humanity. Her face turned cold, and her impatience grew. She took Lu Ming's hand and left. Over the next few days, Shen Xiaowei took Lu Ming everywhere with her, whether she was filming or attending an event. Their number of fans rapidly increased. Oh, Lu Ming left SBC and returned for Shen Xiaowei. They are so cute. Will Lu Ming make a comeback? I want to see them in a film together. Taking advantage of his popularity, Shen Xiaowei arranged work for Lu Ming. Their popularity remained high, and they even accepted endorsement deals together. However, when Shen Xiaowei visited me late at night, she would ask, why do you look so unhappy? I never answered her. The next time I encountered Lu Ming was when he chose my hospital as the filming location for a live-streamed variety show. He and Shen Xiaowei arrived carrying a fruit basket. Jiu Jian, it's been a long time. This is from both of us. Please don't dislike it. People turned around to look. My relationship with Shen Xiaowei had been kept secret. There had been some rumors, but her fans always denied them. The camera turned toward us. I did not accept the fruit. Forget it. I can't eat fruit anymore. Mr. Lu, you should learn about a patient's condition before giving them something. Lu Ming paused before smiling. My apologies. Have you eaten? I'll ask Shen Xiaowei to bring you something. Shen Xiaowei kept looking at me. There was longing in her eyes. I'll go get it. The moment she left to buy lunch, Lu Ming's tears disappeared and a mocking smile appeared on his face. You're an even better actor than I am. You're pretending to suffer from chronic heart failure just to gain Shen Xiaowei's attention. I may have lost once, but a third party will always remain a third party. She will never truly like you. Once you recover, leave quickly. Otherwise, I can make your life very difficult. I said, I regret that you returned 4 years ago. The speed at which you change faces is enough to win a Best Actor award. Then I slapped him across the face, grabbed his hair, forced his head down, and whispered into his ear. Should I remind you how you came back? Think carefully. Where is Jiu Hanmo now? Would you like to meet your wife? Lu Ming cried out in pain and became frightened, but he continued acting stubbornly. It's only a threat. I smiled. Then wait. I've prepared a show especially for you. At that moment, a slender woman appeared at the door. With cold eyes and an equally cold voice, she said, Lu Ming, you were very difficult to find. Lu Ming's entire body trembled. I said, don't you recognize your own wife's voice? Jiu Hanmo was a famous director in the film industry. The news spread almost instantly. The hashtag climbed to the top of the trending list, and information about their marriage was also leaked. Lu Ming refused to turn around. He continued holding my hand. Who are you? How do you know? I laughed. Was it entertaining? I told you that I would avenge my cat's death. In truth, I had met Jiu Hanmo by coincidence. After pursuing Shen Xiaowei 3 times, I had almost forgotten the original events of the novel. 2 days earlier, a stranger contacted me through an acquaintance and directly asked, have you seen Lu Ming? The system told me that she was Jiu Hanmo, the original female lead. She told me that Lu Ming was not only her husband but also a fugitive murderer. Only then did I learn that Lu Ming had already married Jiu Hanmo. He had come to Shen Xiaowei only because he needed her help. I turned Lu Ming around and pushed him toward Jiu Hanmo. Go and meet your true wife. No one said anything. Jiu Hanmo stepped forward and tried to grab Lu Ming. However, Shen Xiaowei returned at that moment carrying food and stopped her. What are you doing? Jiu Hanmo looked her up and down. After so many years, you're still chasing after Lu Ming. Shen Xiaowei replied, this is a public place. You can't take him away. Lu Ming grabbed her hand. Save me, Shen Xiaowei. Jiu Hanmo played a video on her phone. In the video, several people were inside an illegal casino. Lu Ming was among them, gambling. His cheeks were flushed, and he had already lost hundreds of thousands. He said, my wife will pay. When he could not produce the money, the gangsters threatened him. One of them showed Lu Ming photographs of his affairs and threatened to tell his wife. Lu Ming brushed it off because he had no money. Then they threatened to cut off his hand. Under the pressure, Lu Ming pulled a knife from someone's pocket and stabbed a man. Blood splattered across his face. Everyone was stunned, and he fled. The entire video was leaked online. The live stream was immediately stopped. Lu Ming's face became pale. He clung to Shen Xiaowei's hand and cried, that isn't me. It isn't true. I was with friends and made a mistake because I was drunk. You have to believe me. Shen Xiaowei violently pulled her hand away. Jiu Hanmo shoved her aside, captured Lu Ming, and handed him over to the police. Instead of making a comeback, Lu Ming was arrested. The scandal continued throughout the night. Old videos showing his arrogant behavior as a celebrity resurfaced. Crew members came forward and exposed his terrible personality. Watching everything before leaving this world was extremely satisfying. Jiu Hanmo took Lu Ming away. Hopefully, he would spend the rest of his life in prison. Only 1 day remained before I returned home. Shen Xiaowei tried to meet me but could not. Lu Ming's scandal dragged her down as well. Her endorsement deals were cancelled, and she had to pay enormous compensation fees. The industry blacklisted her. Old enemies attacked her relentlessly. She was accused of tax evasion and lost all her wealth. She became penniless. 2 hours before I was scheduled to return home, I endured the pain, left the hospital, and sat alone beside the sea. I liked the ocean. This was also where I had first seen Shen Xiaowei. It had been nighttime, and she was walking alone toward the water. Without knowing anything, I saved her. That beautiful woman was Shen Xiaowei, the villainess I had been ordered to pursue. At that moment, Shen Xiaowei came and sat beside me. She had become extremely thin and weak in only 1 day. May I sit here? She asked softly. I nodded. After some time, she quietly said, I'm sorry. I was surprised, but I could not tell her that it was all right. She continued, last night, I had a dream. You pursued me 3 times. The first time happened here. You saved me. Is that a sign that I might have another chance to win you back? I smiled. Then you didn't finish the dream. The first 2 times, you still chose Lu Ming instead of me. She became anxious. How could that be? You're the only person I love. I rejected her words. How much time do I have? I asked. The system answered, 1 hour and a half. Wait for me. Shen Xiaowei stood and ran away. Half an hour later, the sky in front of me filled with fireworks. Shen Xiaowei shouted loudly, Jiu Jian, I love you. She had brought a large number of fireworks and was lighting them as quickly as she could. She returned in the final minutes, panting heavily. After you go home, will you remember me? I shook my head. Probably not. These fireworks are beautiful, but I don't want to remember anything connected to them. Shen Xiaowei's lips trembled. As the system began counting down, my body started fading. With 10 seconds remaining, she pulled me into her arms. Her tears fell continuously as she repeatedly said, I'm sorry. At 9 seconds, she admitted all her mistakes. At 8 seconds, she said, I'm not asking you to forgive me. Just don't forget me. At 7 seconds, she said, Jiu Jian, the only right thing I ever did in my life was loving you. At 6 seconds, she said, I love you, Jian. During the final 5 seconds, no matter how tightly she held me, my body continued breaking apart in her arms. She repeated the same words again and again, screaming them desperately. Before leaving, I said coldly, Shen Xiaowei, I hate you. I will forget you. Goodbye. Then I disappeared. The system brought me back to my original world. Shen Xiaowei watched me shatter and disappear from her embrace. Only fragments of light remained in her lap. She helplessly clutched the empty air and let out heart-wrenching screams. She had never imagined that losing someone could be so painful. Had she known, she would not have acted arrogantly or deliberately provoked me. She stood and began walking home. Then she heard a noise behind her, followed by rapidly approaching footsteps. Sensing that something was wrong, she began running. Eventually, she was trapped in a corner. Several men holding shining knives stood before her. She nervously asked, Who are you? They only smiled. You don't need to know. After returning home, I slept until the following afternoon. When I opened the door, my mother was calling me to come eat breakfast after so many years. The system was still there. It told me that after I left, Shen Xiaowei was attacked on her way home and died miserably. Until the moment she died, my name remained on her lips. I sighed. Such a young life had disappeared just like that. The system asked, Do you remember who she was? I blinked. Nothing appeared in my mind. I said, if I forgot her, she probably wasn't a good person. The system breathed a sigh of relief and said nothing.